How the hell did The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring not win Best Picture? It was easily the best film of 2001. The visuals, the music, the cast, the epicness. You shall not pass. This is a travesty, I say. Those insolent Academy farts don't know what they're doing. Okay, so who did win? Whatever. A Beautiful Mind was directed by Ron Howard, the man responsible for the immortal classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Just the prior year, he went from directing The Grinch to winning Best Director in the span of 12 months. That's impressive. Anyway, the film tells the true story of John Nash, a brilliant and highly influential mathematician who made numerous contributions and groundbreaking discoveries, all while dealing with severe mental illness and schizophrenia at the same time. The film follows his journey from humble beginnings to his rise as a world-renowned genius, all the way to his struggles with his worsening illness and his attempts to try to keep his family together amidst the turmoil. Just like Gladiator, it stars Russell Crowe in the lead role, and also like Gladiator, it's a good, well-made film that does its job competently enough, but it wasn't anything too special, for me at least. With that being said though, I actually prefer this film to Gladiator for a few reasons, the main one being that the story and characters were way more interesting here. The plot, tone, and direction of the film all change multiple times throughout the duration. The first, second, and third acts all have distinct features related to them. They all feel different. The first act feels like a standard biopic, the second act feels almost like a spy thriller, and the third act is an emotional family drama. This keeps the film engaging and intriguing throughout. The variety did its job and helped me get invested. Of course, none of that would matter if the characters weren't any good, but they are. John Nash is a pretty good protagonist. He starts off annoying and condescending, but one aspect of his character that totally saves him is his determination to make a discovery and distinguish himself. I found that character trait to be very admirable, and the scene where everything clicks for him was very triumphant, and also just great in general due to its creative presentation. So I kinda liked John despite his flaws, and the scenes at the latter half of the film where we see him try to deal with his schizophrenic delusions was very emotional and heartbreaking, and I think Russell Crowe's performance was pretty great. My favorite character in the film, however, is his wife, played by Jennifer Connelly. Everybody, a big round of applause for this lady. What a trooper. When we first meet her, she doesn't seem too special, but over time she earned my adoration and then some. She goes through so much in this film, and it's evident the entire situation with her husband is taking its toll on her, but she never leaves his side. She stays with him regardless. There's a scene where she explains that she actively affects her own mind to think a certain way about the whole thing. How when she thinks of her husband, she thinks about the person she fell in love with, and then he becomes that person, and she becomes a person who loves him. And that scene floored me. Wife of the year right there. That is exactly the right way to handle situations like this. Mad respect. Thanks to her unwavering devotion to her husband, he's able to improve his mental health and continue his great work. She is the epitome of the phrase, behind every great man, there's a great woman. And all I can hope for is that my wife will do even an ounce of what she did for me.
Hey babe.
Yeah.
If I was schizophrenic and I accidentally almost drowned our baby girl in the bathtub, would you still be with me?
Yeah, no.
So, A Beautiful Mind nails the characters department, and the story was intriguing for its majority. So what gives? What makes the film nothing too special in my eyes? Well, there was one major element of the story that didn't really work for me, and that was how the film decided to reveal Nash's health condition to the audience. You see, for the entirety of the first two acts, we have no clue that Nash is schizophrenic. The film is told from his perspective, so we see him interact with certain characters and do certain things that don't seem at all out of place, only for the film to later reveal that some of the things that happened weren't real, and they were all in his mind. This is revealed as a twist, and the plot drastically changes gears from that point onward. Now, for first-time viewers, that moment is pretty impactful. The problem arises upon repeated viewings. I've already seen this film once before, so when I watched it again in preparation for the video, I knew what was coming, and all of a sudden, issues started to pile up. The second act especially suffered because of this. All of the scenes of Nash sneaking around, talking with Ed Harris, running away from Soviet spies, being in car chases and getting shot that? All of these scenes are supposed to be suspenseful and intriguing, but they weren't anymore, because I knew that none of it was real. This made the film feel directionless for a substantial amount of time, where everything just felt like padding until the inevitable rug pull. I found myself just waiting for it to happen, and I wasn't very invested as a result. With that being said, after the big reveal that it's all in his mind, the hallucinations play a much more meaningful and emotional role, and that was all good, but it doesn't make up for all of the prior scenes that now feel pretty meaningless and lacking substance. That's a major issue with the film, and it seriously hindered my viewing experience. The other problem I had with the movie was much more due to my own tastes, but for me, A Beautiful Mind was easily the most Oscar-baity Best Picture winner I have seen up to this point in the marathon, and this distracted the hell out of me. This film lays down the drama real thick, with the biggest culprit being the outrageously sweeping musical score. I mean, you got your standard scenes of our hero thinking, wondering, contemplating, really inspiring stuff, but all the while the music is running wild in the background like like it's the most epic thing you've ever seen in your life. It was so ridiculous that I actually laughed out loud multiple times throughout. It was that noticeable. There have been other films that could arguably be labeled as Oscar bait movies that won Best Picture over the years. I mean, Terms of Endearment and Driving Miss Daisy come to mind, but I have never felt it as monumentally as I did while I was watching this movie. Surely this must be a whole new level. In short, A Beautiful Mind definitely has its strengths, and overall, I'd say it's a pretty good film. I enjoyed it. But several issues and a basic lack of anything that actually stands out and sets it apart makes this film basically just another Best Picture winner. Add it to the pile, I guess. I've seen worse, but I've definitely seen better. A Beautiful Mind ranks near the middle, although I did place it above Gladiator. I like the story more, I like the characters more, and I like the performances more. It's a good film that I'm glad I saw, but that's pretty much it when it comes to what I think about it. Up next is the 75th Best Picture winner, the first musical to win Best Picture in over 30 years, Chicago, and we'll see how it compares to the classic musicals of yesteryear. Check back again for the next video of DB Reviews Oscar Madness Marathon and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss a thing. Thank you all very much, and let the journey continue.